My name is Leslie and I am 62 years old. I like to watch Retta on Scariest Houses in America. It should be twice as long. I like it that much. I like to watch the Great British Baking Show, documentaries on all kinds of things, history, true crime, all kinds of stuff. I was born in Fresno, California. I was the fifth child of 6. I have 4 older brothers and 1 younger sister. Fresno, California, if you don't know, is the raisin capital of the West. We did, in fact, dry grapes and make them into raisins at our house. That is one of my core memories. We lived there till I was 7, and then my dad took a position as an education administrator in New Zealand, which was very far away. We lived in New Zealand for a few years, and then we moved to the Fiji Islands. And we lived there for a few years. Came back to the United States. My dad took a job in California. New Zealand I loved New Zealand. It was really beautiful, and I had tons of friends in my little neighborhood. My 8th birthday, we invited 28 little girls to my 8th birthday. So I had lots of good friends there. It was really a good experience for me to see all those cultures existing alongside each other and all different shades of skin color, and it just didn't matter. It was accepted and cool, and I loved it. Fiji was a different beast. It is right on the equator, so it was a really different climate. During the dry season, it only rains once a day. That's what they used to say. So it's kind of a real tropical jungle type environment. In my school, the kids didn't really know what to make of me because they had just achieved their independence from England a few years prior, and so that was all still being sorted out. They hadn't been treated very well by their European monarchy. They'd been mostly taken over, colonized, so that the British could export sugarcane and whatever other resources they could get, and so the infrastructure was not made for growing the country, it was made for export. And the Fijian people in the 1800s had refused to work in the sugarcane fields for their conquerors. So the British brought over no-caste people from India to do the labor. And so when I lived there, more than half the population were ethnically East Indian. So that was a huge culture, and the native Fijian was a huge culture. But the kids didn't know what to do with me because I was white, and they would call you European. Compared to them, my standard of living was higher. I did better in school because English was my first language and not my second language. And all the classes were taught in English, so that was an unfair advantage. So you can imagine how these kids felt about the one European person in their class. But I loved the culture. The first things my parents did when we got to New Zealand was to enroll my brother and I in Maori culture classes because they really wanted us to fit in or to learn and not feel like we were different so much. And that was super fun. I learned how to sing and dance, do Maori dances, do the poise and the Maori stick game. And, you look back at the pictures and my stark white brother and I look ridiculous, but we loved it. It was so fun. And then same thing in Fiji. We learned Fijian dances and we learned to sing some songs in Hindi. How that island experience shaped me, one of the ways it shaped me was, first it gave me a real love for different cultures, different stories and music and foods, and I loved all that stuff. And the other way it shaped me was seeing people of all different skin color hues and hair textures and whatever. It was normal to me, and it gave me a real sense of being a citizen of the world rather than, isolating myself as different from the world. one of the thoughts that would come to my head was, oh, well, when I go back to America, then I won't feel so uncomfortable. I won't be so different. The kids will like me. And that thought was in the back of my head a lot of times. But I came back from having been gone so many years that I had no clue about American culture. And this is in the 70s. And so I had been used to wearing a uniform at school, a dress, and having my hair back in braids. That's just the way it was. You had to do that. I came back and the first day I went to junior high, I wore a dress and my hair in braids, and everyone else was in bell-bottom jeans and straight hair. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm different again. And it was hard. It took me a few years to really adjust. I was really quiet and shy because I had totally missed the whole culture. Well, I went to high school in a very small town in Northern California, and my dad happened to be the district superintendent, my father was a difficult person. He had undiagnosed mental and emotional problems and didn't have the resources or the awareness to get help for that. And so my father was difficult, and the way I dealt with that was to try to be perfect. I tried to be the best student I could possibly be, get straight A's, not cause problems, stay under the wire. And so that's kind of what I did in high school. I worked really hard to be a perfect student. But since my school was so small, I also had the opportunity to play a lot of sports. I'm all of 5'0", and I got to play volleyball and basketball, run track, just because it was so small, everybody could do everything. So that was fun. And I had a good group of friends in high school. I found people that I could relate to, and I really loved them. I loved being in the choir, loved to sing. Now, actually, my father had a beautiful baritone voice, and so he sang all the time. In fact, that was one of my clues that he was in a good headspace, was if I heard him singing in the shower, I would know, okay, well, he's in a good space today. He sang all the time, and so we sang with him. I learned how to play the piano, and I learned how to accompany him, which was a trial because he had no sense of timing. He drove me completely nuts. So I just learned to follow him, which turned out to be a valuable skill. Of two minds. One, I was heavily influenced by what was practical, what my father said I should be, what he would help pay for, and then what I really wanted. And I don't think I ever really gelled on what I wanted to be. At one time said I wanted to be a communications major, be a reporter. Turns out that if you're more quiet and introverted, you don't make the ace reporting team. Yeah, no war zone reporting for me. And I had thought about music because I was writing songs and composing, but that was always too impractical. Nobody made money doing that. And also my father was very traditional. You need to get married and be a mother. And so his idea was that I should be a nurse or a teacher, which also there were other voices in the what was it, third wave, second wave feminism that were like, no, don't settle for that, be something else. So it was confusing. I didn't really know, outside of being a really good student, I didn't know what my heart's desire was to be. After I graduated high school, I moved to a different state and went to university. During that time, I went and did a mission service for a year and a half in South Korea, which was another really good and bad experience, exposed to another culture, learned the language. So that's cool, but it was also hard in a lot of ways. Loved the people there, and I love Korean food. And then when I got back from that trip, I went back to school. I got married. I actually met my husband in South Korea. When I first met him, we had these meetings every 6 weeks where there would be talks and workshops and just a basic pump you up sort of thing. And we also had to get gamma globulin shots, which are not pleasant. One of my jobs was to give gamma globulin shots every 6 weeks. And at this particular meeting where I met my future husband, I had given all the shots and I needed someone to give one to me. And our mission leader said, "Does anyone here know how to give shots?" And this young man said, "Well, I've given a lot of shots to heifers at home on the ranch," which my eyes rolled back in my head so far I nearly could see my butt. So immediately I didn't like him. He gave me the shot, he nicked a vein, and I bled all the way down my arm. And so I was like, "You are stupid and cocky and I don't like you." And then I didn't have much interaction with him until after I had come back home. We had a mission reunion and I met up with him there, and he was being all charming and nice. And the next day he got my brother's number somehow, which was meant he was motivated. He called and asked me out on a date, and I thought, why are you asking me out on a date? But I went. And I actually really liked him. So I was staying with my brother. Dave comes in to get me, comes in to meet my brother. My brother says, "Arm wrestle me." He didn't say hello, nothing, just that. And so my husband, who came from a ranch, was a cow milker, said okay, and got down on the floor and arm wrestled my brother and beat him soundly. And my brother got this big grin on his face and he was like, "Yeah, I like you." In my 20s and 30s, there was, conflicting social and political views, as there always are. I was very, very aware of women's movements and the civil rights movements. But on the other hand, I was in this culture where it was very conservative, women's places in the home, that kind of thing. And so I was always feeling a lot of conflict about that. Well, I ended up graduating in community health promotion. We got pregnant really fast. Dave was trying to finish school and work, and I had this new baby. I ended up having 4 children, 2 girls and 2 boys. I was a stay-at-home mom. I did a lot of side things like piano lessons and voice lessons. I was often the choir director for my church congregation. Turns out I should have gone ahead and got that music degree because my side gigs my whole life involved music. I was very often the choir director of my church congregation or of a whole group of congregations, and I was able to write music, arrange hymns, and put on programs. I did a lot of vocal coaching, piano lessons, as I said, and that was something I loved doing. I still love writing and composing music, and I get to do that a lot with my daughters. When I was in my mid-30s, my parents came to live with us. My mom had been diagnosed with cancer, and my dad had a lot of health problems. And so we were able to have them move in with us. And the next 10 years, I spent taking care of my mom and dad. My mom died pretty quickly, passed away in our home. And then we took care of dad for another 10 years. It was really valuable experience. It was really good in healing my relationship with my father in so many ways. But it was difficult also because he had so many health problems and needs. So that is what I was doing while I was also raising my 4 little kids. We all have transitional periods in our life, and I think that becoming a senior citizen is really quite eye-opening. It's something that you look at all your life and you think, oh, that's so far away. all the olds and we have stereotypes and things we think about older people. And then all of a sudden you are one and you're like, wait a minute. And I ask you, how many times have you heard this? I'm still the same person inside, but people look at you differently or treat you differently. And so you have to navigate this whole new psychological and physical landscape. You start getting wrinkles and saggy skin. That's the worst thing for me is I have this saggy, frail skin. Chin hairs. Who thought that was a great idea? And it's really quite annoying and devastating. Also, things hurt. You take more pills. I used to boast in my early 40s about how I'd never had any broken bones, I'd never had any surgeries. Well, that just all goes down the toilet. And then you start to be ignored or you become invisible. You feel like you become invisible. People look at you and you're no longer that young and frisky thing. Not that I was really frisky anyway, but you're no longer young, of childbearing age, have a uterus. And so you kind of become invisible. People forget that you had any life experience or that you might have some wisdom to share, you had skills. So that's kind of an interesting thing to navigate. When you get to a certain age, I had kind of a little bit of a meltdown when my last child left the house. And I had been a stay-at-home mom for all these years. Even though I had done all these things on the side, I didn't do a lot of things that were paid, and I didn't have experience out in the world being a working person. And so I immediately felt like, oh, I would have done things differently if I'd have known then what I know now. I would have give up my firstborn child. No, I would never do that. Just kidding. I loved being a mom. I love being a grandma, and I wouldn't give up my kids, but I would definitely have done more to enrich my own self as a person. And so I got to this point where all the kids are gone, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, what do I do now? I don't have a great resume to put out there. I had to really figure out who I was, what I liked, what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and that was really hard. Well, what I learned about myself is that I'm quite capable. I have a lot of skills that are marketable, that are valuable. I have a lot of wisdom. I can write well. I've learned so many things about myself that I have a capacity to do that I never thought I had. So it's been a really great journey for me. One of the greatest things I ever did for myself in my 50s was go to therapy. And it gave me the opportunity to really break out of the pigeonholed, here's what society said you should or should not do, here's what you should worry about and you should not worry about, here are the things that matter and don't matter. I was able to just blow that all away and say, what do I really think matters? When I think of a community, I think of give and take. I think of people communicating with each other and giving of their wisdom and their skills, and then also receiving that back from other people, and each person in their own capacity helping other people, and having friendships that go beyond just people in your same age group. I feel like one of the experiences that I had that really nailed this home to me is that, as I said before, for many years I've been a church choir director. And what I learned was that I didn't want to make it a strict group that you could only be a certain age or an adult and be the best of singers, and we had to do everything technically perfect. I soon realized that to make it a great community, I had to be really inclusive. And so I used to invite all ages to come, and I wanted people to love singing together and to feel what it feels like to sing in a big group and have that great joy that comes from doing that. I found when I did that, I had all ages from 3-year-olds to 80-year-olds sing in the choir. And no matter their skill level, when everybody felt comfortable, when everybody thought it was a fun, rewarding thing, that community sounded great. They sounded wonderful. And I think that experience can translate into regular life when everyone is helping each other and including each other and trying to hear everyone's voice and make it a really fun and joyful experience. That creates the best kind of community. And you find out that you have a lot in common with different people. I think that often we look back on our life and we're like cringing at the dumb things that we did, or the opportunities lost, or things that we didn't do. But I think it's important to look back on our life and illuminate or put forward the things that make us proud and happy about ourselves. And for myself, I would say I'm most proud of having done hard things, knowing that I can do hard things, for pushing my capacity to do things that I was afraid to do or that I couldn't do. The most important thing, though, that I'm proud of is that I have the capacity to change. When I am wrong, I can say I'm wrong, and I can say I'm sorry, and it doesn't diminish me in any way. And when I love, I'm going to love with all my whole heart, and I'm not ashamed of that. And when I receive new data or information, I can change my mind, and I can move forward with that new information. And that's what I'm most proud of, I think.